Hey everybody, it's me, John Ward, and welcome back to another Dark Park Film Reviews. And I am here today with OGP, and we are reviewing the Pirates of the Caribbean movies. Ain't that right?
The notorious OGP.
Oh, I apologize. I apologize.
Let's get it straight. Let's get it straight.
I apologize.
Yeah.
From now on, you can only refer to me as John Ward Dark Park Films then, because that's what mine said.
Sir, I feel that is beneath me.
No, you can also say JWDPF if you want, if that makes it easier for you.
How about I just say GFYM? Go F your.
Oh, how dare you! How dare you!
But I am happy to be here.
That is good.
It's a beautiful day. The sun is shining. Everybody's out enjoying the beach. There's no sharks to worry about. Go swim. You'll be
killer
fine.
Santas. Yeah.
No Santas either.
But you know what makes me sad?
What's that?
I bet you didn't watch it because I didn't watch it. Remember that? From our first video, I found that there was a short film that takes place in between the first movie and the second movie. And it's on YouTube, and both of us were like, "Oh yeah, we got to watch that for the next film." I didn't. I completely forgot
about that. Yeah, maybe we'll have to do that for a supplemental video, or before or with part 3.
Yeah, we just do it with part 3. So,
but it happens.
It does. It does. So what we're talking about here is the second Pirates of the Caribbean movie. So Pirates of the Caribbean, Dead Man's Chest, which comes out July 7th. You have a slipcover, which is nice.
It comes out. Oh, it comes out as in came out.
It came out, yeah. Well, but this poster is telling me that it comes out in July.
Came out.
But do you? I thought this was weird on this poster because there's like a little voodoo type of doll hanging down there, and I know they go to that like witch or like voodoo priestess or whoever
they go to that lady. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
But was there ever a voodoo doll in there? I don't think so.
I recall. I mean, I could have spent more time looking around her abode, her home, whatever it was, to see what type of things they had there. But I don't know. I don't have a problem with the artwork there.
No, it looks good.
Whether there ever was an actual voodoo doll or anything, I don't know. But this kind of alludes to her and her spirituality.
Maybe that's why it's on here, because they go to the swamp witch.
Yeah.
Or swamp voodoo woman. So
yeah.
But I own this, but I still watched it on Disney Plus. I was way too lazy to stand up and actually go get it. So I just went,
Did you have to watch commercials on Disney Plus?
No.
Oh.
No.
Oh, well, that's nice. Yeah, I think on mine, I might have to watch commercials because I got the cheap one. But I had my trilogy box set out still.
Oh, okay.
So I didn't mind venturing from the couch, the 7 or 8 feet over to the player to go ahead and put this in.
I'm just too freaking lazy. Yeah, this is a trilogy. So for Verbinski, I think is how you say his last name. Yeah, he shot 3, and then 2 and 3 were shot back to back, and then he decided not to come back for part 4.
That one of my biggest thoughts about this, positive or negative, we'll get into that. But one of my biggest thoughts about this, as opposed to the first one, is the way they ended this was specifically like this was part 1. It was like, we're not done yet. We're going to give you another film. We've decided this is going to be a trilogy, so we're ending this on a cliffhanger. And I don't know how I felt about that at the time, but we'll dive into that maybe a little more because it's the end of the film. I don't know if we want to talk about that right now or not, but it was definitely different than the first one.
Yes, and I am going to bring up two things that, okay, so this here, okay, so.
Well, there's some of your voodoo stuff right there too.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, so maybe this whole thing is kind of like a voodoo type of thing.
Yeah.
So yeah. This scene, this whole scene, absolutely pointless. It serves nothing to the plot. You could remove this scene and the movie would be just fine. And there are two scenes, I'm going to show another picture in a moment, where they're in things that roll. Why do we need to have two scenes where things roll?
I don't know, but this scene and the big wheel thing that they're in, I loved those scenes. I thought they were very entertaining. And you're right. The only purpose, because they did not really forward the story much, but they were very funny. And
I remember really enjoying this. I did not enjoy this as much this time. The film is 2 hours and 30 minutes, give or take. And I'm watching the scene going, what does this have to do with anything? Except for the dog that gets chased by the natives. And then at the very end credits, there's that little scene of the dog sitting in the chair. So there's that. So it ties back to the dog now being, I guess, like their king that they're going to eat. But it's just a bunch of running around. And it's like,
well, I mean, but that's what these movies are. They're adventure movies. We're not focused so much on a great detailed story as much as we are just adventure. And so you've given us a lot of adventure. And during these things, what I kind of loved was there were things in this movie, as well as I'm sure there were in the first that maybe I just didn't pick up on, that kind of paid homage to other things at Disneyland. And there was some stuff in this that was kind of more like the what's the Jungle Cruise ride at Disneyland. Yeah. And then they're raising a clock at the beginning, and if I'm not mistaken, that looks just like the clock that sits on top at the front of the Haunted Mansion. So I kind of felt like there was some different Disney things, little Easter eggs in this. But this scene right here, I thought, okay, what are we doing? Well, then we find out Johnny Depp is their leader, whatever, the not king, but their chief or whatever. But
yeah, they think he's a god. Yeah.
And so they need to eat him. But that allowed the rest of the pirates to be in those balls made out of human bones hanging, and they got to swing them and go over to the wall of the gorge and then kind of climb up. There was some very funny stuff there. Like when they realized, oh, we only need 6 people to pirate the ship, or to pilot the ship. And they realized there was like enough people in each one of those balls that they just needed one of them. So whoever got out first, the others could be sacrificed. So then it was kind of a race between the pirates to get out of there. I thought that was funny. This portion of the movie, because it went on, there was multiple scenes that revolved around this island and that tribe and what was going on, but it felt very Indiana Jones to me. And I just love that. I love that franchise, and I loved that adventure because Pirates of the Caribbean, and the ride, the movies, everything, it's supposed to be an adventure. And I don't want to just see ships shooting at each other the entire time. I need a little bit more. And so I think this allowed us to get off the ship, continue the adventure, and have it entertaining. Whether it really needed to be in there or not, you can argue that, that's for sure. But I thought it was very entertaining. I really enjoyed this part of the movie.
Yeah, I'm just watching it going, what purpose is this serving? Why am I watching this? Because then we get later on in the movie this. So now they're on a second wheel, a second thing that can go down hills and everything. And
Yeah.
I'm just like, okay, why do we need two? Why can't we have one? But at least this served more of a purpose, that they're trying to get the heart. You know, there's the key, there's the heart, there's all of that. So, and I thought this was done a lot better than the beginning one with the natives. But still, why do we need two? This is so overblown that it's like, give us one or the other. And I almost wonder that since this works with the story and the first time doesn't, maybe they're like, okay, if people hate it, we could just cut the beginning out and we would be fine, because they can't cut this out.
But so if you cut out that other part, then we see the ship on the beach. We see Jack Sparrow being their god. Where's the rest of the crew? That other part allows us to know what happened to the rest of the crew and why they're not saving Jack Sparrow, why they're on the island waiting. And it kind of explains what happened to them after they beached the ship. So I do think, in a sense, if you took that out, you have to explain, well, where's the crew? And then when they sail off, how did the crew come back? So I do think you either needed that or you needed something else. Could they have tightened it up and shortened it? Sure. You know, it didn't need to be as long as it was, but I don't know. To me, parts of the film that I would suggest maybe get trimmed down would have been not so much the stuff on this island, the sword fight scene after. So this rolls down to the beach, falls on its side, and then they continue sword fighting. And the three of them have this three-way sword fight. And I forget her name, but Keira Knightley's character.
Oh, Elizabeth.
Thank you. She's like watching them, kind of chasing him. Then she sees the other two pirates have the chest, and so she's now kind of chasing them. There's like a lot going on. But that three-way sword fight, that went on way too long. And that really,
that's what I'm talking about. It's so
but just
bloated.
that sword fight, just that after the thing fell over, give me a minute or two more of that and then move on. But it was like 10 more minutes of this sword fight that really was like, just wrap up the sword fight, wrap it up, figure out a way to end the sword fight, and let's go. You know, get to the point of the old the guy from the first movie who was the British, what was he called? He was like the guy who was after Captain Jack Sparrow in the first movie, the one who really wanted to marry Elizabeth.
Oh, I'm bringing him up in a little bit. He's the Commodore, isn't he?
Or was he the Commodore?
He is, well,
something like
Jack
that.
Davenport. Yeah, he resigned his commission as Commodore.
Okay, because he had just gotten promoted to Commodore from whatever he was. So that guy, once he takes the heart out of Jack Sparrow's jar, his jar of dirt. I love that, how that's the scene. Got it, where he holds up the jar of dirt, and so how many times have I seen memes about Amber Turd? And it's a jar of cocaine. And then the meme or the little video cuts to Jack Sparrow holding it up. Got it. the jar of dirt, but you know, it was so funny. And the idea that he doesn't know that the heart's not in there is great. But they could have got to that a lot quicker. There was so much of that sword fight. I didn't mind this, and then rolling downhill. And because the ruins there kind of remind me of Indiana Jones ride at Disneyland. The wheel reminds me of Splash Mountain, which is not there no more. Thank you, woke agenda stuff. But I mean, it's the ride is still there. They took off Zippity Doodah and they have some other character I've never heard of before.
Yeah.
But they have a big wheel like this. So
well, and in this scene, you also have Davy Jones guys. All the barnacle people are chasing them around too. You know, they're chasing Elizabeth and then the two other pirates around to get the chest or the heart. The thing that I like about those two guys, you know, two of Jack's guys, is how smart they are. Like they talk smart, you know, like the guy with the one eye, you know, with the glass eye, he'll all of a sudden be like, well, the transcontinental, you know, shipping range of and he looks like this dumbass, you know, but yet he's like really smart. And so I liked all that. The stuff with them sword fighting, I completely agree with you, but I did like how Elizabeth reacted to it. I like that she, you know, was acting like a girl, you know, throwing rocks at them like, boys, come on. Yeah. And then she you know, oh, the heat, and then collapses and nobody does anything. And she kind of sits there pouting, you know, like, you know, come on, guys. And then she gets involved with the Jack's two guys because they have the chest. I wonder, it's with the chest. It's funny when they're on the Pearl and they're talking about the chest, and Keira Knightley is there, and Jack's like, we need to get the chest. It almost looks like Keira Knightley is about to laugh. And I'm wondering if there's some sort of, because she allowed it in Domino that she does not really have breasts, that she's pretty flat chested. And so that's in a great scene in Domino where she's at a sorority, and one of the mean girls there comments on her small breast. And then so she says, oh, that's funny, because have you ever had a nose job? And the girl's like, no, why? And so Keira Knightley, the character, punches her right in the face and busts her nose, and blood all comes out. So I wonder if there was some sort of, because it's weird, because it would always be like Jack Sparrow would go, we need to find the chest. And then she would almost kind of like, she looked like she was about to crack up. Because I rewound it. I thought, this is weird. Like, you know, so I don't know. Maybe it's just how I kind of saw the scene. But yeah, it was kind of weird.
I don't know. Because of her clothing, what she was wearing and everything, I didn't notice as far as, you know, her boobs or anything.
Well,
being Disney, it's not gonna be like very risque.
Well, remember back in the day, they had all that Disney art with the penises and
okay, but that stuff was supposed to be hidden. It wasn't like authorized by the powers that be. That was artists putting it in there.
That was the
and so
just either they were mad at the company or whatever,
and then they had to go change the artwork and take the penis off the castle and whatever it was, the one under the sea or something. But
yeah, the Little Mermaid one had the castle. And then Jessica Rabbit is riding a log that is supposed to be a penis that she's strapped, you know, that she's straddling it. So, but I really think Keira Knightley is gorgeous in this. I love. There's the guy with the one eye, but I love what she is wearing. Just chicks being pirates, I think, is just hot, and you just, you know, and they keep telling you there's no good roles for women or whatever it is, and it's like, I don't know. I kind of think your character should be put up there with a lot of these other female action heroes. I mean, she's just gorgeous in this. And
Yeah, well, it was superstition that, a woman on the ship would cause problems. And maybe you can understand why, because if there was a woman on the ship and you had, you know, uh every guy in the ship would want to be trying to get her in bed, and that would just cause a lot of problems and drama. So I understand where the idea that you don't want women on ships back in the day, I understand where that makes sense. It wasn't until within the last like 20-25 years or so, I think, maybe a little bit longer, maybe 30 years, that the United States Navy allowed women on ships.
hmm,
And maybe like bigger ships or whatever, but like battleships and everything, they weren't designed to be men and women. They were just designed to be men. And so they had to start remodeling ships to make, separate quarters and stuff for the women. But I don't know. To me, I mean, what she's wearing is irrelevant to me as far as her looks. She is, a very gorgeous woman. She has a
well,
nice like bone structure and everything, and is very
I mean,
great
look at that.
skin.
That is just
Yeah.
hot. To me,
I
that is amazing looking to me.
yeah, no, if you put a dude in that, it would look the same, and like with just a different face. So I don't know. The clothing right there doesn't do much for me, but no, she's a very good looking woman. And the funny thing is, we talked in the first review about were the characters memorable or not. And I don't, with this one, again, you can't replace Johnny Depp. You cannot. And in this one, I don't know. It would be very hard to find somebody to replace Keira Knightley. She was perfect for this role. But Orlando Bloom, his character is semi-forgettable at times.
Well, just wait till
So
you see the next step, not the third one, but wait until you get into 4 and 5, and then ask those
okay.
questions again. I mean, if you
Yeah.
I could tell you who's in those and who's not.
Let's wait
But
until we get there. I've never seen him. I don't want any spoilers.
yeah, I've only gone up to part 3. I think I've seen part 4, but I'm not sure. But
Yeah.
I don't know. I mean, I like that they play off of her, that even when she's on the ship and they find the dress, that she could play like a guy, that she could just play like, I don't know, like a boy or something that's on the ship, because they don't even recognize her as being a woman. She's just another guy.
Yeah, I thought, to me, I was like, it's a stretch, but they're supposed to be stupid pirates. And when she's up dangling the dress, so it's like flying through the air like a ghost, because she's trying to give them a sign of which way to go.
Right.
If they're stupid enough to believe that that dress was there and not look up and see her dangling it, then they're stupid enough to not realize that's a woman in men's clothing.
Yes. And I have this up for a double reason. So, what do you think about him, about Davenport, who was, always chasing after Jack Sparrow in the first film, and now he's just this bum kind of guy who's down on his luck, living on the street. He's not part of like the royal command anymore, and he becomes part of Jack's crew, but he wants the heart so then he can get back into favor, get his status back. What did you think of him kind of being the opposite of what he was in the first film?
Well, in the first one, his character was so annoying, and that was by design, but I just hated his character. In this one, I liked what they did with the character. The idea that you're bringing him back and he's, okay, he let Jack Sparrow off the hook, so he lost, his status as Commodore and stuff. And not only that, but I mean, he lost everything.
Yeah.
So getting the opportunity and showing how sneaky he really is and how self-centered he is, trying to act like at points where, oh, I'll help you. And then when it comes down to it, he's totally willing to throw him under the bus just to regain his status. So he's not just a throwaway character. There's still layers to his, to this character. And so I liked what they did. And at first I was like, well, do you need to bring him back? But I think it if you can continue a story and care about not just one character and how they progress through the story and their outcome, but if you can now care about 4 or 5 or 6 characters at the end of this story, and not care as far as root for them, but you want to see how their story plays out. Adding somebody like that, I thought they did a good job because I wanted to see what they were going to do with him. Where in the first movie, I just wanted him to go away. So I liked what they did there. And I like how they made his life was very tough. He just, he was shit on and just had to fight for everything. And, but you could tell he's still really smart and he was going to figure his way out of it. But I thought it was good.
Okay. And so we'll go to our main people here. So what about Jack Sparrow? Did anything change for you with him? Pretty much the same guy. Did he improve any? What are your thoughts on him in this movie compared to the first film?
Yeah, no, well, for me, he is the story. Without him, I don't need to see the movies. And I thought his character was, it made me, in the first one, I enjoyed it. I had a couple laughs. This one, I laughed out loud. The first movie, all in all, I think was a little better than this one, but this one made me laugh out loud a few times more than the first one, especially when they're like, oh, we can't leave without Jack. Like, where's Jack? And he comes running around the hill on the beach and the whole tribe is chasing after him. Hysterical. Absolutely hysterical. And that is Jack Sparrow. And it's, how is he going to get out of this? He's in these, no-win situations and he always finds a way out. And then his questioning himself of being the scumbag pirate that, when they say, can you, when Davy Jones says, can you sacrifice basically Will Turner, to get what you want? And he's like, yeah, okay. Yeah, no problem. Yeah. That to me, it was very funny. And then you see him rowing off on the boat because he realizes he doesn't have the heart. So he's going after it. And, and they see him and they're like, damn it, this guy, are you kidding me? But then his whatever conscience he has comes back and makes him turn around and go back to the boat. And that's when it was so perfect that Elizabeth started kissing him and he's going like, oh, okay. All right. Okay, cool. And then she straps him, she locks him to the mast so he can't get off the ship when it goes down.
Because of the Kraken.
Yeah. And then seeing Will's reaction to that was like, and for a second, I'm like, well, she's going to get there, to the other, little lifeboat or whatever. And she's going to tell Will. But then I realized she can't because all the other pirates on board would know that she locked Jack Sparrow on and they would turn against her. So she needed to keep that secret for a while, even though she knew, and you could tell that it didn't sit well with Will. But the conflict of, am I just a self-centered evil pirate? Or do I care about people? The going back and forth on that, Johnny Depp. I mean, we don't have to talk about how great of an actor Johnny Depp is. Everybody knows that. But the writing of this character and Johnny Depp's ability to, kind of rock that boat back and forth from good to bad, good to bad, good to bad, and that, you know, dilemma that he deals with, I thought was very good. So from the first movie to this movie, his character didn't skip a beat. I thought they did a great job with him.
Okay. And so then Elizabeth, who we've been talking a little bit about, I see a total shift in her, that before she was, you know, with the gowns and the marriage and all that type of stuff. And now she's pirate. Now she
Yeah.
is, even though she wants the marriage, she wants to marry Will, she wants to do all that stuff. She is now a pirate, and she could take care of herself and run a ship, and she
Yeah.
could do all that type of stuff. What's your take on her from the first film to this one?
Yeah, so this one, so obviously, you know, she's had the experience that she had in the first film, and she starts off this one basically getting thrown in jail when she thinks, you know, okay, life is good now, we're going to get married, life's going to be great, and then nope, these British people swoop in, throw her in jail. And one of the things about that I really loved was that they incorporated the dog again, you know, and it's
Yeah.
like, where's that dog with the keys and the jail cell and stuff? It's so, you know, because that is such a huge part of the Pirates of the Caribbean ride is the dog with the keys. And I thought that was good the way they rehashed it, bringing back the dog and then the dog on the island later and everything. So, um, her being stuck in that jail and then her dad getting her out and getting her to go, you know, save Will, or, you know, how that all came to be. Um, you know, well, no, he was just trying to get her out of there. And then she went to go save Will. But she, I think, learned in the first movie that she is capable of doing whatever she has to do to get what she wants. But she's not willing to hurt people to get what she wants, aside from people that were willing to, you know, let her or Will die, um, you know, in Jack Sparrow by locking him up to the boat. But it just showed how smart she really is, how crafty she is. And what I liked about it, her character specifically, is they didn't they made her a strong female lead without taking away from Jack Sparrow's character.
Yeah.
And that sometimes movies can't do that. They'll go, well, one has to be the dominant force, and not necessarily. So her character is great. She's a phenomenal actress. And yeah, the stuff on the beach with them sword fighting and everything, her reaction there and everything at first was like, I'm a girl, you know, is nobody paying attention to me? And then basically she's saving the day by going and chasing down those other two goofball pirates. So her character was good. I very much enjoyed that character and that storyline again.
Did you notice that she was the dog in the prison, in the jail cell? She's sitting by herself, and all the pirates on the other side are all like, "Come here, come here, come here,
Oh yeah.
come
Yeah.
here."
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
like she replaced the dog with the keys, and now
Yes.
they're telling her, "Come here, come
Yeah.
here."
Yeah. No, yeah, that you're right. And that was funny. You know, obviously she didn't have the keys or she would have got herself out. But yeah, those same pirates there being, instead of just wanting keys to escape, they're, you know, their pervertedness is coming out and their sexual deviance. But and that's kind of interesting that, you know, they did that. I'm glad you pointed that out, because you think for Disney, and maybe this is just pre Kathleen Kennedy bullcrap, but maybe, you know, because it's a film, they actually could do stuff like that. But that type of thing is exactly what they took away from the ride with
Yeah.
the guys going after the girls. They completely flipped the script on that. So the fact that they did it in the movie is still very cool. Side note, did you hear Kathleen Kennedy is now officially out at Star Wars? She is done and gone.
It doesn't matter, because the two people coming in New bosses, same as the old boss. They are handpicked by her. Dave Filoni is one of the worst things to ever happen. The word is he is worse than Kathleen Kennedy.
Oh no.
Yeah, it's that's a whole video by itself. Yeah, nothing's going to change. It's actually only going to get worse. So
well, there you go.
Yeah, so it's so now with what about because now you were saying if Will got replaced, so did he grow on you at all in this movie, or is he kind of still the same?
I thought the character was fine, but and he was smart. He's brave. He's doing what he has to do to get the love of his life out of that jail. Before she gets killed. So he's just going to do what it takes. If it costs him his own life, that's what it is. So the motive for that character was great. The side story with, his dad coming back and then him wanting to save his dad and stuff. I thought that was an interesting idea, but I wasn't a big fan of how they executed that. To me, at times, it made Will seem like a bit of a bitch. Just because, and I get it. You want to save your dad. Who wouldn't? We all would. And so I get that. Now, you have one conundrum to deal with, and that's saving the love of your life. Let's worry about that first, and then figure out how to save your dad, who's already been doomed to an eternity as a sea monster pirate guy.
It's a barnacle, man.
Yeah. So, and I'm telling you, like the dad and some of the other pirates, like the hammerhead shark pirate guy, I was not a fan of that stuff.
Okay. Yeah, we're going to discuss that in a moment. Okay. So,
but Will, I mean, his character, there was times where he was just like, oh yeah, he's in this movie still. Oh yeah. And that's where the sword fighting stuff just went on and on and on. I don't know. I needed to care more about his character, and I really didn't. It was just, he was the kind of mechanism that got this whole thing going by going to try and save Elizabeth. But then Elizabeth came to save him, and I mean, I didn't care so much about what Will was doing. And maybe that was because we were too focused on him and his dad. I don't know if that's the case, but I don't know. If there was one thing that I think you could improve with the writing of the story, I think it would have been, let's do something a little more significant with Will. Make me care about him more.
Okay. All right. And then you did bring up his dad. So Davy Jones, there we go. We got our lead bad guy here. What do you think about him?
I think that they should have used the real life Davy Jones.
Which one?
From the Monkees.
He's dead.
Was he dead when they made this in 2004 or whatever? I kid. Anyways, I'm kidding. I'm kidding.
I want to say yes, but no, he's there is a Monkees episode that deals with Davy Jones' locker. And so they like pirates and stuff kidnap Davy Jones.
That's cool.
So
that's cool.
But this is he is played by Stellan Skarsgård. So did you think everything held up, like his tentacles and things moving around him and the big claw? How do you think all that kind of effects held up?
I thought Davy Jones was played by Bill Nighy.
Bill Nighy is I'm sorry, Bill Nighy is Davy Jones. Stellan Skarsgård, I'm sorry, is William Bootstrap Bill Turner. There we go.
Yeah.
If I could get that. Yeah, so Bill Nighy, who's a great actor.
Yeah. No, very, very much so. As far as his role, I thought he was great. He was a very evil, devious pirate who just wanted everybody to suffer the same fate that he was suffering. Again, not a fan of the sea monster pirates. Maybe that was, you know, like that look right there. It was okay, but maybe it was some of the special effects or CG or whatever. I don't know. I just didn't care for it. I did like the scene where Will is stealing the key out from under his like tentacle, whatever those things are, right? Tentacles.
Yeah, I guess tentacles. Yeah.
You know, so that was pretty funny where Davy Jones is sleeping there and he goes in and kind of like uses the whatever he used to lift up the tentacle to get out that key. I don't know. The character, the role, everything he did, I was fine with. I just wasn't a big fan of the look of really any of those sea pirates. Yeah, I like in the first one the ghost pirates and the skeletons and that stuff. But in this one, just the sea monster pirates, I wasn't a fan of the look.
You know, not a lot of stuff creeps me out, but barnacles do. Barnacles bother me for some reason. And I just think that they're kind of gross. And so that
definitely gross. Yeah.
Yeah. But none of this stuff bothered me because we even have you know, to just kind of look at you know, Will's dad he's got a big starfish stuck to the side of his face.
Yeah. Okay. So Will's dad with the starfish stuck to the side of his face and things growing off of him, to me, if you were a pirate and now you're brought down to the bottom of the sea and you're stuck there for 100 years or whatever it is, or an eternity, getting things stuck to you like barnacles and starfish and stuff like that. Okay. His look is fine. Davy Jones, how did he turn into an octopus head? How did the other guy turn into a hammerhead shark head guy? Those are the things that, like, was that explained? Did I miss that? How these guys started to look like fish or whatever?
So I actually have, because I was going to ask you, what do you think of these guys? And this does have the hammerhead guy.
Yeah, I think that's just dumb looking. So them having like the barnacle things on them, okay, that's cool because you're underwater. But how did they turn it? How did Davy Jones get a big like lobster hand or whatever? I didn't like that at all. Now, the one guy who I think is on the far side there in the back, who's like had the seashell head and his head gets cut off and then his body's running away at the one point. That was kind of funny because then his head turns in and he turns into a little crab and runs after his body. Like that was kind of funny, but how did these guys get turned in? I understand if we're going from human being to pirate, ghost, skeleton kind of thing, but we've now morphed into like a shark or an octopus. And I don't like that. Maybe they gave a good reason, but I just make them human beings that have like barnacles stuck to them, you know, or whatever.
I don't think they did give a reason. It's just fantasy. Yeah. It's oh, here we have a guy that looks like a hammerhead. Here we have a guy who has a claw.
Maybe I would have appreciated it more if when they said, okay, well now Will, you're stuck with us. If they would have began to transform Will into a fish or something, you know, but Will just stayed looking like Will. So when they had Will captive, why didn't they start?
Because he didn't remember they have to, the survivors of that one ship had to pledge allegiance to Davy Jones.
Yeah.
And Will never did that. So he's staying the same.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know. I just the way they look to me, I thought was
Too much?
I didn't care for it. Yeah. Yeah. That would
Okay.
be so their look and Will's character are definitely two things that I would have changed.
Okay. So now the funny thing is I found these and I think these are creepy for kids. I would buy them now just because I think they're so weird looking, but they did make action figures, for the movies.
Okay.
And so this is the action figure for Davy Jones. And he's got the claw. He's very creepy
I mean,
looking.
it's a cool action figure. I do like the action figure. The big old claw hand is dumb, but I mean, but it's a great as far as action figures go. That is great looking.
Yeah, they also made one. I have two here because they also made one of Will's dad. And I just thought, like, wow, these are kind of, I guess these aren't really aimed at kids. I think these are like Todd McFarlane, like the Todd McFarlane toys. But because here, I
Yeah,
mean,
they're
here he
more
is.
like statue, like display items versus play items.
Yeah. Because I mean, a kid would be terrified by this, I think. I mean, just that picture alone
Yeah,
of him
yeah,
there.
the picture's ugly. Yeah, the picture of him's ugly, but that the action figure itself is kind of cool looking.
Yeah, they are cool looking. I'm just kind of looking at like, my God, did kids play with these things at all? So what did you think of now we talked about the Black Pearl in the last video. What about the Flying Dutchman? What did you think of that?
The ship I thought was cool looking. I really liked the ship. You know how it would, go underwater and come up out and everything. I liked what they did with the ship. I would have been, fine with all those pirates if they were like undersea people stuck there for eternity or whatever, but just not their look. But I thought the ship was great. And how Will was able to kind of hide in the front where the like dragon's teeth are on it. But I know I thought that ship was very cool looking. And um when Davy Jones is in there, was he playing the organ or
Yeah, it was this really cool kind of Phantom of the Opera type
yeah.
organ. Yeah.
I liked that scene. I thought that was very cool. It's very ominous. And in that ship, it was, obviously there's no luxury there. There's no comfort. There's no squishy pillows and anything. It's just that is pure evil coming to get you. As far as the best Disney can do with pure evil, because we're not going to have Pumpkinhead or the Creeper come out and start ripping people apart. So for what it's worth, what Disney is going to do with evil, I thought that was great.
Yeah, I really like the design of it. I like the front has like this mouth with all these teeth.
Yeah.
Was cool. The bless you. The
Thank you.
cannons on the side when they come out, like water comes out with them. And
Yeah.
then the back of it has those multi cannons that rotate as they go, as they go around, which I thought was really cool. I'm like, God, man, this thing is like the Batmobile. I mean, it's got like friggin' everything. And I love how it dipped. It looked like Godzilla as it goes down into the water. And then when it pops up, it's very Godzilla-like, because then it like kind of hits on the water. I thought they did a great job on this, on the Flying Dutchman. I thought it looked really good.
Yeah. Well, and because so like with that's its thing, goes underwater and all that. The Black Pearl, when it comes, you get the dark, ominous clouds that come along with it. So each ship kind of has its thing as far as making its presence known. So I like that they just didn't have another set of dark clouds following this ship.
Yeah,
I thought that was really good. And it does look very cool. It does look like undersea, like ocean goth kind of thing, you
Yeah,
know?
yeah, yeah. Yeah,
So,
totally. Yeah. So then what did you think also of the Kraken?
Obviously we didn't get to see, I don't think, the entire Kraken. We got to see like the tentacles coming up. And then I think there's one view underwater where we kind of see more of the Kraken, but I don't think,
Yeah,
unless
Will
I
kind
missed it,
of
we see the whole thing.
no, I thought that was interesting because it's that's like the design of it, but yeah, this is kind of like what we see.
Yeah.
Is it
And
coming up like that?
I did like how, okay, they heard it, and then they realize, okay, we just heard it. It's going to come back, and it's going to come back pissed off. So we got to get out of here now. So I like that they did that, knowing how much damage they did to it. It still wasn't enough. So, being the all powerful beast as big as it was and everything, I thought was kind of cool. And I mean, it's fantasy. It's fantasy. So, the tentacles being able to just go and grab people and pick them up and fling them or whatever they're going to do. I thought, okay, do the tentacles have eyeballs on the end? How do they know where these people are to grab them and stuff? Do they smell? Like how do they know where to grab? That was my only question with the tentacles. Like they would just snatch people up and take them. How do they know the people were right there? Because like on that thing, it's basically a gigantic octopus. The eyeballs are down by the head. They're not on the tentacles.
I guess
So,
he just whips them around, and that's and he's just grabbing them.
but if you
Just
watch the film, the tentacles come and like if here's a person, it goes boom and pulls them out of it.
yeah, like it grabs the
It
captain.
knows right where they are. So, um, but again, it's fantasy, so maybe we're not supposed to ask that question. Um, but otherwise, um, when it took that first ship down, when it came up and grabbed that ship and crushed it and pulled underwater, was like, oh damn.
Yeah,
So now because you've shown us what that thing can do with a ship that's insignificant versus when it's time to say, the Black Pearl, it was nice knowing you, Black Pearl. We got to go. Uh, for us as an audience to understand what this thing can do to the Black Pearl and why they got to get out of there. And then understanding Captain Jack Sparrow's desire to get onto land or stay in shallow water was very funny. So, um,
yeah. It's a they basically did screenwriting 101. If you introduce the Kraken at the beginning of the movie, you better use it. At the first act, you better
yeah,
use it in the third act. And that was it was our Jaws moment, like at the beginning of Jaws with the girl, the swimmer, how it throws her around and pulls her down. We know exactly what's there and what's going to be happening. And so they kind of did the same thing with with
yeah,
the Kraken to let us know this thing can pull an entire ship down, with ease.
yeah.
I just find it funny because you mentioned that this just looks like a regular octopus, and it's like, but that's
I
what
don't. It
they
doesn't look like a regular octopus.
well, not a okay, it looks like an octopus, but not a regular one. Yeah. And it's way back in the day, they would go, there's sea monsters out there. No, it'd be a whale.
Yeah,
Or it could be dolphins, or it could be maybe they'd see a shark, or something, and they'd be, oh my
yeah.
God, there's sea monsters everywhere. Look at these things. So as far as we know, because this is so huge, this is just an exaggerated version of like what somebody way back in the day saw on a boat when it really was just an octopus, but it was a big octopus. But the way they're describing it is it could take an entire boat down, when it really couldn't.
Yeah. Well, I mean, they found squid in the ocean that are what, like 30 feet long, or they
Oh, yeah.
found these massive animals that we never knew existed. And who knows what all is still under that ocean. You got to get down there without getting crushed, to see more. But in a fantasy world, that creature plays well. And what they did with the Kraken in the film was great, because the Kraken wasn't the enemy. The Kraken was just something that they had to not get caught up in. And so this wasn't Moby Dick. This wasn't, let's find the Kraken and kill it to save our lives. This was, we got something to do. And while we're doing it, we got to make sure not get killed by the Kraken too. So I think it was a good addition to the story. And, it didn't just make the story boring of, oh, we just have to avoid this thing. So,
it's a Kraken being a Kraken. That's all it is. It's just doing what it does. And
crackhead Kraken.
Oh, yeah, probably. So did you know, I think this is the only Pirates movie to actually make $1 billion?
I have not looked at money at all with these. I again, going back to why we're doing this right now. Growing up as a kid, Pirates of the Caribbean was always my favorite ride at Disneyland. And I remember when I heard that they were going to make a Pirates of the Caribbean movie, I was like, ooh, oh, that very cool. I want to see that. And then I never did. And I don't know why I never did. And I've had the films sitting here and I thought, you know what? I need to watch those. I don't know why they've always just been kind of put on the back burner. I guess part of the reason is I'm not a big fantasy fan. Lord of the Rings, meh. So when it comes to that type of stuff, I don't care. If you took the fantasy out of this and just made it a pirate movie, it would probably need to be rated R to get my attention, to get most people's attention. And Disney's not going to do that. So you have to add the fantasy to it. So, I don't know. I just never got around to watching them, but recently moving movies around, rearranging the room, I saw them, was like, I really need to watch these. So I've never paid attention to how they've done, how they've been received, how much money they've made, or any of that stuff. I'm going in blind, and that's the way I want to go in. I want to enjoy. I want to put on the next one, not knowing, aside from Johnny Depp, who's going to be in it. I have a guess that Orlando Bloom and Keira Knightley are going to be in it because the cliffhanger we got at the end of this one. But beyond that, I don't want to know. It's one thing I'm always conflicted with movie trailers, because I want to know if I want to see this movie, but I don't want to know too much about the movie. So, I don't know. But if you have numbers or anything, it would be interesting to hear.
Well, I'll only do the first two. There is another one that made $1 billion. So I'm looking at it right now, but I won't say which one it is. But yeah, just like Curse of the Black Pearl worldwide, it made like $654 million. And then this one did $1,066,000,000. And then I'm going to end it there, because then we can talk about World's End next week. But I'm actually, I don't know, I'm a little surprised, maybe not, but it's funny is that the budgets go up and then they go down. So it's like Disney was all high on Pirates, and then like, well, okay, because like the Curse of the Black Pearl is 140 million, and then Dead Man's Chest was 225 million. So it goes a bit, then so then they're all kind of the same. I
wonder too, and we'll have to watch when we get there, and I don't want to know, but maybe with budgets changing, are we doing less practical, more digital, and so we don't need to build so many things? Maybe we, less insurance costs if we're shooting in front of a green screen or whatever. I don't know, but maybe interesting to find out why those budgets changed the way they did.
Not drastically. I mean, but they're still, they're still up there, but it is, kind of goes whoop and then a little down.
Yeah.
So you had brought this up, the cliffhanger ending. What did you think of this? How do you think that Kraken looks? That's kind of gross to me.
That was kind of cool at the end. I did like that. But now, obviously, we got to go save Jack Sparrow. You can't have a movie without Jack Sparrow, so you know where it's going. But I thought that was a pretty epic Jack Sparrow versus the Kraken was pretty damn cool. So I enjoyed the scene.
Yeah, well, and Elizabeth did mention earlier, that she feels that he is going to do something very important. He just needs to kind of get out of his own way, and he does. Here, he sacrifices himself to let the other people get to the island. So,
but as far as where this scene goes, the way they left it on a cliffhanger, I did not care for at all. The first movie could be just a standalone movie and it's done. This movie is like, no, you need to watch, part 3 to fully appreciate this movie. And I did not care for how big of a cliffhanger they left this on.
Okay. All right. Okay. Fair enough. Fair enough. And then my last one here is, what do you think about the return of this guy?
The monkey, or the monkey was hysterical.
No, but not just the monkey.
Yeah.
The character.
Yeah. He was such a big
Barbarossa. Is that how you say his name? I think I said it wrong last time.
He was such a big part of the first one that I like, him as an actor, his character and stuff. So I was okay with them bringing him back, and obviously I would imagine he's going to be a bigger part of part 3 than he was part 2. But I think, I don't know, but I'm, hey, if you're going to bring Jack Sparrow back from the dead somehow or another, there's nothing's off limits. So, I don't know. I don't mind. I thought it, he's fine.
Okay. No. Okay. All righty. Okay. Fair enough. So, that pretty much brings us to the end of the movie. So, is there anything else that you want to talk about with it? Or, I mean,
well, there's a, did you know the scene when Jack Sparrow calls Davy Jones fish face and sings to them, "I got a jar of dirt"? I love that scene. That was unscripted and improvised by Johnny Depp, and most of the reactions by the rest of the characters are just their real reactions to Johnny Depp singing "I got a jar of dirt." And I wonder if, was it common knowledge on set that Johnny Depp may have also at home had a jar of cocaine? So him having a jar of dirt, was that a double entendre right there? I don't know, but that was very funny.
Yeah, that is funny. As the camera is, I like that it's a wide kind of far shot of him just, "I got a jar of dirt, I got a jar of dirt, and then he falls down the steps and everybody's like,
yes.
"Oh," and then he pops up, "I got it."
That was another time that I just literally laughed out loud.
Well, he's good at doing physical stuff,
Oh yeah. Well, there's a lot of like trivia kind of things. Deleted footage from Tortuga, Pirates of the Caribbean, Curse of Black Pearl was added to the final cut of this movie. Interesting. Anyways, I didn't read through all this to see what would be interesting, but I love IMDb. And then if you go into this film and into the trivia thing, there's a lot of interesting little notes here. Like, the texture of Davy Jones' skin was made by scanning a dirty coffee cup and applying it to the screen using Photoshop type software. So that kind of stuff, from a filmmaker's perspective, that stuff is very interesting. The film is banned in China for its depiction of cannibalism, an integral part of the movie storyline. And we talked about that. Was it integral? Was that a critical part of the storyline? I don't know. But it was a big part of the story. The cannibals, the villagers that they were running from. So apparently it's banned in China.
That's what, but what does it have to do with China though?
China banned it because of cannibalism. You can't apparently have cannibalism movies in China.
Oh, okay. I thought maybe they insulted China or something. Like they mentioned Tibet, and they're like, get that out of there, or we're gonna ban it. So,
and I did like this too. This is when Mr. Gibbs is enlisting new recruits at the tavern. A bunch of men are pulling a man out of a well. He slowly spits out water. This is a recreation of the scene at the Pirates of the Caribbean ride. And I did remember when he comes up out of the well, and that's when you hear the girl going, what does she say? Don't be cheeking. Don't be cheeking. Like his wife is yelling down at him.
Yeah.
So that's very funny. It is a great part of the ride. You always got to look for her yelling down at him coming up. Keira Knightley had to wear hair extensions because she had cut her hair short for her role in what movie, John?
The Jacket.
Domino.
Oh. Yeah, she's very hot at Domino.
The Black Pearl was built over the body of an oil tanker in Bayou La Batre, Alabama. Interesting. Davy Jones does not appear in the film until exactly 1 hour into the film. You don't get to see Davy Jones until 1 hour into the film, which is funny because I hate the movie Prey, because you don't basically get the Predator till exactly 1 hour in the movie. So that's interesting. But I mean, there's so much else going on with this where Davy Jones is part of their problem.
Well, that's the thing, is they build him up. That's Orson Welles did that. I believe it was Mr. Arcane, is they talk about him through like the first hour of the movie, and then it's like an hour into it, all of a sudden he appears, but you know everything about this guy, and when he appears, it's not a letdown. But Prey, I think, would be, because you don't know. I mean, we know the Predator from the other movies, but it's not like the natives are running around going, oh, Predator. Oh, where's the Predator? Oh, Predator, Predator,
But as a viewer, I don't want Hiawatha. I want the Predator. Yeah, I said it. Here's a trivia question for you. What is the name of the dog?
I have no idea.
It's a trick question. The dog with the keys is never given a proper name. The script just refers to him as Prison Dog.
Okay.
Let's see. There's so many more, 50 more, so many little trivia tidbits and stuff. When Davy Jones is playing the pipe organ, the song he is playing is a slightly sped up version of the tune that his locket plays. That's not quite as interesting as the dog, but as the Kraken grabs a sailor, the man is heard shouting, "Shoot me." In the next scene, Gibbs can briefly be seen putting the man out of his misery. I did like how, in these, they're Disney movies, but they kill people. They have no problem, getting somebody stabbed or getting somebody shot.
Well, it's nice because everybody's on different levels, but nothing is thrown, because you'd mentioned this earlier about being woke. Nothing is thrown in your face for any of this. Nothing is, you're expecting Elizabeth to be a lady.
Yeah.
And at no point does anybody tell her in the first film or this one, you can't do this. You're a woman. What are you talking about? it's just accepted, and it's done in a good way. It's not done in a, like you also mentioned, like, well, I'm better than Jack Sparrow.
Yeah.
You know, Jack Sparrow can, you know, he can duel with one person. I can duel with two because I'm a woman. You know, which I think if well, they're planning on making another one, but I mean, who knows where that goes? But I think if these were made today, she would definitely be,
Oh
she'd
yeah,
be better than everybody.
it would be her story, and Jack Sparrow would be a side note.
Yeah.
Release prints were delivered to theaters with the fake title Rummy 2, so that people wouldn't know what it was called or what was coming. That's interesting. You had mentioned that this film hit $1 billion. This was only the third film in history to ever make $1 billion after the Titanic and Lord of the Rings Return of the King.
Oh,
that's interesting that it was the third ever to get there. Man, there is so many. Liar's Dice is available to play as DVD special feature, like for Pirates of the Caribbean at World's End. Liar's Dice. So is that a different? Is there another film, another short film for this one called Liar's Dice?
I will look it up. Liar's Dice. Let's see.
So do we need to watch Liar's Dice as well? Like the other one we have to watch?
Let's see here.
Let's see. Special features.
Pirates of the Caribbean.
Games and activities. Oh, games and activities. Liar's Dice. Oh, it looks like it's a game. Internet with. Oh, interact with pirates from the movie to the high definition game. So it's a game.
Yeah, it's explained a lot on here. So there's the scene of Liar's Dice. Then it says Liar's Dice explained. There's another guy who looks like a pirate who's explaining it to you on how it works. Then there's one that, you know, how to play Liar's Dice, and it shows you the cups and the dice. So yeah, there's a lot of how to. I have no idea how that game works. Even though they explained it, I'm still confused on how that works. I don't understand it at all.
Yeah, I couldn't care less, really, honestly. Production was frequently delayed due to hurricane season. That's funny. Sorry, we got to stop filming because there's a hurricane coming.
It happens.
Good stuff. Wow, the film sold 14 million copies in 2006, becoming the best-selling video release of the year in the United States. So there's a lot more. Go to IMDb and look up trivia if anybody else is interested in seeing all that stuff. We could be here all night with that.
That is true.
But
now I'm very interested in the third film because I didn't like it. I don't think I saw it in the theater. I think I saw it when it came out on like video. And I just kept going. This is not a Pirates movie. How is this a Pirates movie? What are they doing? So I'm very curious. I have a feeling I'm going to love it. But I think at the time I was expecting something different. And I was very, so for a long time, I think I've only seen that once. Seen like the first Pirates now like 3 times. I've seen this, I think maybe 3 times, but I think I saw At World's End once.
I've seen it 0 times, and this is my first time through for all these films, so I have no preconceived notions of what to expect or anything. But I'm excited to watch the third one now.
Okay.
I mean, I enjoyed the first 2 enough that I want to see. I think I liked the first one a little bit better. I don't remember what I scored it. Did I give it a 4? Did I give it a 3.5? I don't remember what I
think you gave it a 4.
Okay. This one, I'm feeling pretty comfortable. I think this one's like a 3.5. It's a good film, which is 3.5 is a 7 out of 10. It's a fair, very, very fair score. It's a great movie. Not nearly amongst my favorites. you know, of any movie. But a lot of times with franchises, I usually like the first film in the franchise the best. And out of these two, that's definitely holds true.
Yeah, and I would give this. I would agree. I would go 3.5. Probably just stay at 3. It wouldn't go forward, or 3.5. It would probably not go forward or backwards. So I think this is. But it's funny is the first film, The Curse of the Black Pearl, is 143 minutes. This one is 151. And for me, you know, Curse of the Black Pearl did not feel that long. This, for me, felt that long.
Yeah.
So I might be, I don't know, I might change mine to a 3. So I give Black Pearl 4. I give this one 3, but it could go to 3.5.
Yeah. I think, I mean, all in all, my problems with it, trim down some of the sword fighting, make me care more about Will. And that was really it, you know, because if you trim down some of the film and get that runtime shorter, I would have liked that. There's a lot of adventure in this movie. I think we could have trimmed some of it down because you know, I mean, who's our target audience? When they sat down and said, we're going to make Pirates 2, who are they targeting? Because if they're Disney, they're not targeting adults who would see you know, cleavage and, you know, women get treated like a pirate would really treat a woman, you know, things that would make it an R rating. You're not going to get that. So who's the target audience? And is it families? And if it's families, what type of kids want to sit through an almost 3-hour movie? But I say this, and then we have these Avatar movies and so many things, these Avengers movies that just go on and on and on and on and on. I find it hard to believe that anybody wants a movie this long. And maybe they're just going, you know what? We're not making, but when this was made, it was made for the theater. Nowadays, maybe they're just going, you know what? We know people are going to watch it at home. So 3 hours long, they're going to have to sit down to it 2 or 3 times. So that's going to make sure they keep their subscription. That's going to make sure they watch their commercials 2 or 3 times. So I don't know. These run times are just absurd for these movies. Does it need to be an hour and a half? No. 2 hours, maybe 2:15 would be fine, because you want it to be this epic big film. You know, you don't want it to be something that's just everyday run of the mill movie. So I don't know. I
mean, cut
way
down
too
that
long.
sword fighting scene. Cut it in half.
Oh, definitely. There's some other stuff they probably could have trimmed down too, but you know,
like removing the beginning of the movie. Like, you know, with the natives. So, you know, but it reminds me of like that beginning is Wonder Woman 1984. Is they shot 2 beginnings. The film has 2 beginnings. So there's the scene with Diana on the island with all the Amazons, and she's a kid and she has to learn a lesson. And then it cuts years later where Wonder Woman is fighting some bad guys in a mall. And Warner Brothers went, pick one. Pick one. And she went, Patty Jenkins, the director, went, if you make me pick one, I'm not going to do Wonder Woman 3. And so they let her have both. And it feels like 2 beginnings. Now, Wonder Woman 1984 bombed. There was no part 3. So, you know, but
yeah.
it's
I'll
like,
have to take your word for all that. I've no interest. I've never
oh,
seen
you
either
shouldn't.
Wonder Woman movie, and I'm good.
Yeah. But it's just, I find that interesting because they, you know, obviously studios look at that type of stuff. So they must have felt that with Pirates, that having this big grand scene with these natives was, you know, was good enough to still keep in here with this running time.
Yeah.
Because when I put this on last night, I was like, oh crap, that's right. This is like 2.5 hours.
Yeah.
Shit.
Yeah.
So
no, but you know, the thing when they do their test screenings and stuff, they're not going to do a test screening with a 10-year-old. They're going to do test screenings with adults that, you know, when the tablets are handed out at the end and you're giving your feedback, that you can put together, you know, cognitive, you know, coherent thoughts and give them some legitimate feedback that they can take into consideration. So, you know, I mean, a little kid's going to watch. And come on, I mean, I have 5 kids. I could tell you, a kid's gonna watch for like a half hour, and then they're gonna be like, "All right, let's go play. Let's go do something else. I've had enough pirates." So I don't understand the target audience and why the length, but it is what it is. I would have just preferred a little bit shorter, but you know, and I don't mind a good long movie as long as there's enough story. But I think we went too much adventure, not enough story. And spoiler alert to something we're talking about Sunday. I don't know when you're releasing this in comparison to that, but you want to talk about too much adventure, not enough story. Van Helsing. Oh my God. It's all adventure. There's no story at all. Forget what we all want to know and you learn about like Frankenstein and Dracula. Ugh. So anyways, at least this had layers to the characters and there was a lot going on, but they could have trimmed down some of the adventure.
okay, I agree. Yeah, and I haven't watched Van Helsing yet. So yeah, I just released a video yesterday, a review. So I'm gonna wait probably a couple days on this and then I'll bring it out. So I like to have a little bit of space.
Yeah. So they're gonna see this after we talk about Van Helsing, probably. So
this could be released, yeah, Sunday or Monday. Yeah. Yeah. So okay. All right. Okay. All right. Well, anything else or we'll take off?
No, everybody, thank you for watching. A thumbs up and make sure and be on the lookout for when we talk about part 3, which is what's it called?
At World's End.
At World's End, where the triumphant return of Jack Sparrow coming back from the dead, right? That's seems what we're setting up.
Maybe. Is he on the box cover?
On the trilogy box cover, he most certainly is. Oh, right there. Front and center.
Spoilers.
Yeah. How about them apples? But it was fun. I'm glad we're doing this. Thank you for watching these movies with me for my first go round with them, and looking forward to look at this. My second, the part 2 was still factory sealed, and my part 3 proof I have never watched this film.
Oh, okay. You brought receipts. Okay.
Factory sealed here.
All right. There we go. Okay, everybody. Thanks. I really appreciate this. Appreciate you watching. Let us know what pirate films you liked or anything down below. Hit that like button. Do all that. Join us on Sundays for Sunday Movie Mayhem. Did I get that right? Say it. What is it?
Sunday Night Mayhem. S&M.
S&M. Okay, there we go. Over on OGP's page. So
come join us for a little S&M, will you?
There you go. And his link will be down below to the YouTube
We'll
channel.
provide the whips and chains.
That's right. They're free. But you can't take them home with you. You got to leave them here. Yeah, okay. But they're free. All right, everybody. Take it easy. Appreciate it.
Shout out to Drew Marvick, Pool Party Massacre. Did part 2 ever come out? Is it out yet?
Not yet.
Okay.
Yeah. At least I haven't seen anything yet. He hasn't posted anything on Facebook.
Okay.
So, all right, everybody. Thanks a lot. And we'll see you on the next one. Peace and love. Peace and love. Peace and love. Peace and love.